Good evening. I call to order the meeting of the Design Review Board. Today's date is November 28th, 2022. Roll call, Matt.
Slobodjan,
Yes.
Rashid,
Yes.
Stiniker,
Present.
Salzer,
Here.
Hoff,
Here.
Tibbet,
Here.
Anderson.
All right, Secretary's report, consideration of the October 24th, 2022 meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Motion passes. No old business. New business, case DR 2218, request for design review, CD Downtown Zoning District, facade improvements at 727 West 3rd Street, Convict Customs petitioner.
Okay. So the subject property is highlighted in yellow on the map. So it's located at the corner of 3rd Street and Brown Street. It is located in the West 3rd Street Historic District. It's the site of the former Al's transmission service. A new tenant will be occupying the building to do a different type of auto body related work called Convict Customs. So they are proposing a complete remodel and refresh of the building facade. So they will be painting the exterior of the building, which is like a cream cinder block currently, to a darker gray color. They'll be installing new windows with security tinting, adding signage to the building, installing a new 6-foot cedar privacy fence, repaving the parking lot, installing new gutters and downspouts, refurbishing the existing garage doors, and then adding a stone facade base on that West 3rd Street elevation, as well as adding a wooden pergola style awning near the intersection. So image on the left shows what the current building looks like, and then on the right with the proposed improvements. The applicant has expressed interest in refurbishing the garage doors if they can. Otherwise, they may propose a replacement door at a later date. Here's the building from more of the intersection, looking to the south. So they would be painting that dark gray exterior color and then adding a wooden pergola style awning at that intersection. So this is an example photo that was submitted by the applicant of the awning of how that might look like. The building is right up against the sidewalk, so it would extend over the public right-of-way. Then that image on the right shows what the existing parking lot looks like from Brown Street. So it's currently a 6-foot tall chain link fence with barbed wire. So the applicant would be taking that down to install a 6-foot tall privacy fence in cedar. So they did also propose signage with their application. They submitted the photo on the top right, which appears to be a neon sign. And then they do show painted wall signs on the building. However, I want to make a note that painted signs are not allowed per the city zoning ordinance. So staff informed the applicant that they would have to propose some alternative sign package, and that should really be submitted at a later date with some more detailed information. Davenport zoning ordinance allows for 2 square feet of signage per linear building front. So that would allow for roughly 164 square feet on the north elevation and 160 square feet of signage along Brown Street. So with that sign application, we'd be looking for conformance with the zoning code and general aesthetics for the building. So with that, staff is recommending tabling the proposed signage to allow the applicant additional time to explore different designs that meet both the city zoning ordinance as well as our design standards. And staff will work with the applicant to bring back a sign package at a later date. Staff is also recommending approval of the remaining items with just one condition that the awning maintain a minimum vertical clearance of 8 feet from the sidewalk grade to not interfere with pedestrians walking underneath.
Is there anyone here from Convict Customs that would like to speak on this?
I don't see anyone.
No? Any questions from the board?
Had the plan been to include two different signage things? There was one right where the awning is, and then they had one along on top of the garages.
So, yep, so the rendering shows a couple different placements of signage. So they show a painted wall sign over the garage doors, and then painted signage over that white portion between the windows on the first and second floor. And then there's also an existing cabinet sign on the Brown Street frontage, the very corner. And then they also do show a painted wall sign along that Brown Street frontage, but there just wasn't enough information provided in terms of square footage. And then also just the fact that the city doesn't allow painted signs. So we recommended they could do like a vinyl sticker or some other method that might create a similar appearance. But we'll have to work with the applicant more on what that might look like.
And it looks to me like it's whatever they do, but it's too much signage to have both of those things going.
What about the sign above Pergolo? Is that a painted sign then, too?
That also appeared to be a painted sign,
Okay.
so.
Okay, but they could do the neon sign, that's acceptable or not?
So we weren't provided with enough information. So that was the stock photo that they had sent. So we'll kind of get more details for approval at a different meeting date.
Any other comments?
I think the rest of it looks good, and I think what they've done with the garage doors along there is nice.
I would move to approve going forward with the staff recommendations and tabling the signage until a later date.
I'll second that.
Any other comments? Matt, would you do a roll call vote?
Rashid,
I approve, yes.
Stiniker,
Yes.
Salzer,
Yes.
Hoff,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Slobodkin.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Case DR 2219, request for design review, CD Downtown Zoning District, exterior improvements at 313 East 3rd Street, Santa's Elves.
Okay, so the subject property is highlighted in yellow. It's located on the middle of the block on East 3rd Street, which is between Pershing Avenue and Iowa Street. So just to the north side of the block is Armored Gardens, if that helps you kind of identify yourself. The subject building shown there on the left, it's a brick building that has previously been painted and is showing signs of, some of the paint peeling off. So the application scope, the proposal is to strip the existing paint from the front, which is the north facade, and then strip the northern 20 feet of existing paint from the west facade. To remove the paneling from the front of the buildings and then infill that with old Chicago buff bricks to match the existing stone base. So that's that photo on the right showing what that replacement brick would look like. And then Laura, if you can go on the panel over the doors, that'll be infilled in that wood panel section. And then the applicant has hired a mason to tuck point the building with a spec mix type N in a light tan color. And then once when the paint's been stripped and the building's been tuck pointed, they would treat the entire surface with a moisture resistant liquid. So one of the reasons why the building is likely in its current state is because the brick has been painted. When you paint historic brick, it tends to lock in the moisture within the brick, which causes then the paint to peel with it and causes some deterioration of the brick itself. However, staff agree that this application to try to restore it back to its historic appearance is appropriate. So staff is recommending approval, subject just to one condition, that if any deteriorated brick requires replacement, the new brick be reviewed and approved by city staff to match the color and dimensions of the historic masonry.
Is there anyone from San Elves that would like to speak on this? If you'd like to add anything, you can come up to the podium and.
No, I don't think I'd like to add anything.
Okay.
We're just trying to,
Nice to meet you.
trying to improve it and make it look like it was originally and get rid of the wood so that we don't have that maintenance issue.
What will it be
What will
used
it be?
for?
That's what I was wondering.
Just as storage as it currently is.
I have a question. I'm also from San Jose. So if we need to have the brick approved, if we were to use some old brick that maybe we could reclaim from another area, is that acceptable?
So, yeah, what we'd just be looking at is to make sure that they're very close to the same size.
Well, and we
Yeah.
absolutely want that too.
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah,
That would be appropriate from
Yeah.
staff's perspective.
Okay.
Is there any questions from the board?
Yeah, is that a red brick underneath there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's,
And then is the plan to put it looks like the tan brick, you should go back to that one.
only where the existing wood is where the
Okay,
tan
only where
and
it
brick
is,
would
okay,
go.
that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another reason it deteriorated is because of, over the years, the roof has not been sealed properly, and the mason guy tells us that the moisture mainly came from the top of the bricks and seeped all the way down through the bricks, and now we've got a new roof on it, so that should stop that problem. So.
Okay, so the front face there, the north of the building will be, replace the wood paneling with the tan-ish colored brick.
Above
And
colored
then
brick,
above that is back to the
back to
original
the
red.
original brick, everything else will be original.
Thank you.
Is that a garage door?
Yes.
so generally speaking, this area historically has been auto-oriented. So that doesn't surprise me at all that there's garage doors, things like that. It's right next to Clemmy, if you're familiar with that as well. It's another one down there.
What? Yeah, originally it was the Tri-City Carriage Building. They made carriages in the upper story.
Oh, cool.
That's what it was originally. And then it was an auto dealership for a while. And then since Sergeant Pepper's had it, it's just been storage.
Be a nice looking building.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion or any other questions?
I move to approve with staff recommendations.
Matt, would you like to read the roll call?
Anderson? Slobodin?
Yes,
Rashid?
Yes.
Stiniker?
Yes.
Salzer?
Yes.
Ha?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks for coming down, guys.
Thank you.
Case DR 2220, request for design review, CD Downtown Zoning District, exterior painting at 418 East Second Street, MFN Investments LLC.
Okay, so this project should look familiar. This is the Damn Tacos location. So it's located on East Second Street, near the intersection of Iowa. So we've reviewed this project in the past for a couple different things. Last month it was for the sign, Damn Tacos, to be placed on the front of the facade. And then in, I believe October of last year, we also approved some facade renovations to add a canopy to the building and to swap out the existing garage door with a new storefront window system. This location is within the Davenport Motor Row and Industrial Historic District, which does impact some of those design characteristics and features which would be allowed. So the new storefront renovation is currently underway. So outlined in yellow is the subject property. So it's located with Dam View to the west, and then a vacant storefront attached to it adjacent. So on the left is the existing storefront, and then on the right was the design that was approved last year. During that review process, city staff, in discussion with Streamline Architects, inquired about whether or not the brick would be painted as part of this project, since the rendering's showing it in a dark gray. We were told that there would be no painting of brick at that time. The architect even added notes to the rendering stating no revision to existing brick wall. However, earlier this month, city building staff noticed that the property owner began painting the brick in that kind of dark gray that was shown on the rendering. So city staff notified the applicant to stop exterior painting until the design review board can review and approve or provide feedback on that project. So the applicant submitted an application to paint the exterior in iron ore color. So there you can kind of see where it's at the midway point. Something to note, should the applicant have proposed this project prior to starting work, city staff would have recommended against it. And that's really because masonry is a finished building product. So as soon as you paint it, you have to maintain and upkeep it. Painting brick also prevents the brick from breathing. So it'll hold on to moisture, which will cause deterioration when that gets sealed. This project also is located within the floodplain. Since it's within a historic district, historic buildings are exempt from meeting floodplain code. So the understanding was if you keep the character of the building historic, that would save the property owner from taking additional measures to flood-proof the building. Well, now when you've painted the exterior masonry, you start to get into those elements of, well, is the building still maintaining its historic character and features? So that's an issue outside of design review board. So that shouldn't necessarily impact your vote on how the floodplain permit is done, but that's just another component to this project. So the downtown design guidelines, as they relate to older historic buildings, it's not to prevent change, nor is it necessary to return the facade to its original appearance. Rather, the goal is to encourage sensitive and appropriate change when renovation occurs. So that's really done by maintaining the original surfaces and colors of older buildings rather than painting them to maintain that original identity and character. Also, considering original color schemes while rehabbing and maintaining its outside appearance. So this is located on a continuous block face. Dam View and that vacant tenant space all kind of have that same reddish brown brick, and now we're introducing a new color, kind of breaks apart that continuity. So with that, staff recommend denial of the project as submitted and recommend that the paint be removed using historically appropriate cleaning methods.
Is there anyone here from MFN Investments to speak on the case?
It doesn't look like it.
Nope. Any questions from the board, comments?
Are they fined for doing that? Do they get a fine of any sort for?
So that would be something we'd go down the enforcement path. Right now, we wouldn't, they've done significant renovation inside the building. We would be holding their occupancy of that building, so they would not be able to open. And if we had to, which we hope we don't have to, we would handle that through our normal enforcement process.
I agree with the denial. I think that was, I think like they knew the rules, didn't they?
They stated they didn't know painting required review from the board.
They state.
So my question is though, I mean, should they have painted it? No. Does it look awful? No, it doesn't look awful. Is there something, if they were to strip it back down, because I'll be honest, the red brick on either side looks very worn and very aged and run down. And it might encourage the other sides to do something in the future to make that not look so. Is there something they can do once they strip it down that can make it look better on the outside?
Well, the property owner owns all 3 spaces.
Okay,
So we would suggest tuck pointing. It can clean it up substantially.
okay,
And there's some instances of some poor tuck pointing, which makes it look worse.
yeah,
So you can kind of clean it up a little bit, but a talented, or a masonry can help you with some of that stuff.
mm-hmm.
Are there any other comments or questions?
Hello, it's, okay. There seems to be some great momentum in the downtown at this point. And I'm thinking about the Ray Gun T-shirt shop that's coming downtown. And there's the new restaurants. And if this goes, I think we should deny this to keep that momentum going and keep the aesthetic quality of that part of the downtown. So in light of that, I move that we take the staff recommendation and deny the exterior paint.
Was that a second, PJ? Matt, can you read the roll call?
So to clarify, a yes vote is to approve staff recommendation for denial. Okay? Okay. Salzer,
Yes.
Hoff,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Slobodjan,
Yes.
Rashid,
Yes.
Stiniker.
Yes.
Staff recommendation is approved. Case DR 2221, request for design review, CD Downtown Zoning District, exterior painting at 626 West River Drive, MFN Investments.
Okay, so this project, also under the same ownership as the Damn Tacos location. So highlighted in yellow on the map, so it's located on the corner of River Drive, just across from the baseball stadium and Gain Street. It's the location of the former Scott County Kennel Club. So about a year ago, a new bakery tenant occupied the tenant space and moved in. The design review board approved brick cleaning and tuck pointing at its June 2021 meeting. The existing masonry is the reddish brown brick. It does have some painted signs on the building from the Scott County Kennel Club that are located more in the back towards the loading dock area. The same week as the last item, city staff noticed that painting began without design review board approval. So the owner was notified to stop work until being reviewed from the board. So here are some existing photos of the site. So they started to paint in a creamish paint color. So that's the view from River Drive looking back into the property. So the applicant is proposing to paint the building in this cream and sugar color, and then painting the Gain Street side in that memorable rose, pinkish paint color. For the same reasons as our last item, staff is recommending denial of the case as submitted, with the same recommendation that the paint be removed using a historically appropriate cleaning method.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
You know what it was going to be used for? You know what it was going to be used for after it was remodeled or?
So the current tenant is the bakery facility for Cookies and Dreams. So I think the color scheme might be their logo branding.
I think these are difficult situations when some of the work has already been done. But I also think that part of our responsibility is to stay with what we have been advised to do as far as following code and following what should be done. So again, with this, I would go along with staff.
Poor guy just spent a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so painting never came up last June. It was just the cleaning. So I don't know, it tells me they knew that the exterior had to be dealt with here, and I don't know, like they skipped a step. I don't know that they did that maliciously, but I still think, I don't think it lines up with recommendations for the downtown districts.
So the June approval, it did include tuck pointing and cleaning the masonry. It doesn't appear when we were out there that the masonry has been tuck pointed. I think it's just been painted.
Painting to cut corners?
Also, they had no plans to make this like a front-facing, like, storefront at all, right? I remember that in the last meeting, it was just like, this is gonna be hidden, basically.
Not that I'm aware of. They did build a new staircase along the River Drive, but I believe that's more of just a access point for employees.
I apologize, I missed a couple. What is this meant to become?
So it's currently just a bakery facility.
It's like a commercial bakery, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, like Cookies and Dreams,
Got it.
I don't know if you've seen their cookies,
Yeah.
but, so that's where they bake them all,
Got
and
it.
then they distribute them out for
Got
sale.
it.
I move we go with staff recommendations and deny this.
I would second.
Any other comments? We have a roll call vote.
Okay, so a yes vote is for a recommendation for denial. Rashid,
Yes.
Stiniker,
Yes.
Salzer,
Yes.
Hoff,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
and Slobodkin.
Yes.
Motion passes on staff's recommendation. Is there any general discussion?
Nothing from staff.
Any public comment? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. All right. All right, we'll see you guys December 19th.